The chances of surviving the concentration camp were slim. There were many ways in which prisoners could lose their lives. They could die of hunger, of diseases, of overwork, of the after effects of a beating, or in the course of a medical experiment. Deaths of this type were called normaler Abgang, the jargon of the SS, which is akin to saying the prisoners died of natural causes. In addition to this, individual prisoners or groups of prisoners were also executed, but in a manner that could be legally defined as murder, by being shot, hanged, or after 1943, gassed. These crimes are documented by the display Murder and Mass Murder in the Concentration Camp, 1936 to 1945, on the eastern wall of the camp. This was the place where, in the industrial yard on the other side, the so-called Station Z was located, with its crematorium, its Gewichtsschutzanlage, an installation for shooting prisoners in the base of the skull, its gas chamber, and its execution trench. The greatest single concerted act of mass murder in the history of Sachsenhausen was the execution of at least 10,000 Soviet prisoners of war in the late summer and autumn of 1941. Before being transferred to Sachsenhausen, these prisoners had been sorted out in prisoner of war camps of the Wehrmacht on the basis of Hitler's infamous Kommissar order, which ordered the summary execution of any political commissars and Jews among the Russian prisoners of war. In order to carry out the murders, the SS set up a temporary but complicated contraption for administering the Gewichtsschuss, a single shot in the base of the skull, in a wooden hut not far from the execution trench. The prisoners were led into a room where an SS man in a white laboratory coat made a pretense of conducting medical examination, in the course of which they had to stand against a stadiometer or height measurement affixed to one of the walls. The stadiometer had a hidden firing slit through which an SS man in the next room shot the prisoners in the back of the head as they stood there. Military march music was played at high volume on a gramophone throughout the procedure to drown out any noises. In 1962, the prisoner Paul Sarkovsky, who was on forced duty during these murders, reported what he had witnessed.
Sergeants Kessler and Dinggrafe, both wearing white coats, shouted at me to pull him out of the way. Only then did I see a naked man lying on the floor. I gripped him by the wrists and dragged him out into the hallway, where Ficker told me to put him with the other two corpses in the corner. As I dragged him through the wood shavings, I noticed he was leaving a trail of blood. In the corner, I turned the body around onto its front and saw a thin trickle of blood coming out of a small hole in the base of the man's head at the back.
The headshot installation, installed in the so-called Station Z building when it was built in 1942, worked along much the same lines. It was first used in May 1942, when 250 Jews
Wow, qué fuerte. Concentration camp.